I still remember about 2 months ago, you still told me, you can try the test and then blah, blah, blah. And now I got it. It's a bit unreal.
You are now listening to the IELTS podcast. Learn from tutors and ex-examiners who are masters of IELTS preparation. Your host, Ben Worthington.
Hi there, IELTS podcast listeners. My name is Ben Worthington, and in this episode, we're going to talk to a very intelligent student called Tuan. Did I pronounce it Tuan correctly?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. And yeah, so this interview is going to be all about Tuan's experiences, his experience before the exam, how he prepared for the exam, what happened actually in the exam, and then what's happening now. So, Tuan, can you just give us an overview of your situation before, or like why you're taking the IELTS, basically?
Yeah, sure. I needed the 10 to get 7 for all the components to get the score enough for permanent resident in Australia. So I think you remember before the test, I sent you a really long email explaining my situation. I was quite frustrated because my writing, I was like struggling to improve my writing. I stuck at 6.5 for about 2 times. I took 2 times before. Mm-hmm. And it's like I was learning from my mistake, and I didn't have anyone to correct the essays for me.
Right.
So every time I wrote an essay, it was like starting all over again. I didn't have like kind of structure. So.
I see. So where are you based? Are you based in Melbourne? Is that where you live?
No, I'm living in Sydney.
Right. Okay. And did you not want to, you said that you'd taken the exam twice beforehand, yeah? And each time you got 6.5. Did you consider going to an IELTS academy there in Sydney?
I was thinking about, but somehow I thought it wasn't going to help me. So, yeah.
Okay.
I thought they just going to show me, like, you need to do this, you need to do that. But I didn't think it was going to help me.
Fair enough. Okay. So you weren't convinced by them at all. You wanted to prepare for yourself. Okay, it's interesting. And did you try like other did you try other sites online? Did you try other places?
I tried a few places before, but they didn't have a really solid structure, like in the sentence guide. And also I took the test about 2 years ago. I took one time, and in this class they also had a structure like sentence guide, but I didn't like it. I think it was a bit silly and it wasn't really logical. Okay. It's like the structure was really silly, so I didn't want to.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So while you were in Sydney, are you working? Are you a student as well?
I've just graduated at the beginning of this year. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking about looking for a job and taking the IELTS, but I decided to do the IELTS full time, to concentrate to get it done.
Okay. I see. That's quite a good strategy, actually. Just put all of your effort, all your time and energy, just focused on one goal. This is exactly what I did for my driving test. I just forgot about everything else. Going out, forgot about the parties and stuff like that, and just focused.
Yeah.
And this is
exactly what I did.
Yeah. I think this is a really good method, actually, because it's like the old saying in English, you know, trying to, like three birds in the, well, one bird in your hand is worth three in the air, you know, so it's like the power, basically, the power of focusing and just concentrating until it's done, then moving on to the next one.
Less stressful as well, because looking for a job is quite hard and stressful. So if we do both difficult tasks at the same time, I don't think we're going to get anywhere. So I just thought, just go for one at a time.
Absolutely. So before your exam results, you were getting, like, tell me what exam results you got previously in each of the disciplines.
I took one in January this year, right after I graduated, and I got 6.5 for writing and 6 for speaking.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And how did you feel afterwards, when you got those results?
I was depressed, frustrated. Really. I mean, I remember when I got the result, I walked on the street like this, and I walked around the park, and I felt really like heavy, like useless, something like that. I didn't want to take the test anymore. I'm quite frustrated.
Wow. Okay. So what were you thinking of doing? Going back to your home country, leaving Australia, trying another country?
No, because my sister is here in Australia with me, so, and also I like it here, so
okay.
I think
I see. So you had maybe like a bit of a low point, and then you thought, okay, it's time to get back into action and it's time to start preparing. Right, I see.
Because I only need to get 7 in all the components, so I will have enough points for the permanent residence in Australia.
And yes, definitely. So what did you do to improve your speaking score then?
I think last time I was kind of underestimated the speaking test. I thought after 2 years living in Australia, I could like get a score easily, but the truth was that I got 6. So that's why I was really depressed. But after all, I think it was my fault because I didn't pay attention to the tests, the question types, the strategy, all these things. Because last time I just came to the test and I spoke randomly, no strategy, no structure. So,
I see.
But I think that's really common because many people take the test, but they don't prepare for it, and they keep saying like it's a silly test, and in real life people don't do this, don't do that. But I realized that the majority of people who said that didn't get the score, and the people who got the result they want both suggested me to take the time, like spend about 2 or 3 months to prepare because it's a really difficult test.
Yes.
You need to.
Yeah, totally. So what did you do differently in each of the exams? What, for the exam you got 6 and then the other exam you got 7, what did you do differently to boost your score?
I started with my writing.
No, sorry, just to focus on your speaking.
I started with the writing first because I was quite worried about it.
Okay.
And then after I got the sentence guide and I got the structure, I felt quite safe with my writing, so I can move on to my speaking. And for my speaking, I followed the speaking confidence, like you said, the strategy.
In that course as well.
Yeah, because I got it. You gave it from me.
Yes, I did.
It's quite useful. I follow this speaking confidence, and also I tried to focus on the structure of the speaking, like what are they going to ask me in task 1, task 2, task 3, and I prepared more carefully this time, and I listened more to the types of question in task 3. Like there are few types of questions they give us, such as do you think blah blah blah, what this blah blah blah, and I get the strategy for each question.
Excellent. Yes. Yeah, I think that's so important that you mentioned that. I mean, especially if you're going for the higher bands, the 7, 7.5 and 8s, 9s, that if you're not paying extreme attention to the questions, if you're not listening so attentively, then it's so easy to answer a different question that you've got in your mind. So yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and I think in your case...
But I mean...
sorry?
The attitude is really important. The attitude for the test.
Yeah.
Last time I was like, it's easy. I'm gonna get it. But this time, my attitude was like, I need to prepare.
I see.
It's a difficult test. So.
So would it be fair to say that during the speaking, the first time, you were probably overly relaxed and sort of like laid back and just treat it like a conversation, whereas in the second one you went there and your back was straight, you were paying full attention, you were really focused, and you were listening very carefully to every single question and instruction. Would that be a fair overview?
Well, this time I think I was a bit nervous as well, but I was trying to make it like a normal conversation like you and me. But deep inside, I prepared. I knew that I already prepared for this, but I was trying to show like the normal conversation.
Okay.
But last time I was just speaking freely, but I didn't have any strategy, any structure for my answer, so it was like quite a mess. Okay. And my task 2 was horrible last time.
I see. Yeah, part 2 of the speaking, yeah.
Yeah, part 2 of the speaking. The time I took in January was horrible.
Yeah. Well, I think there's 2 interesting things you said. One, this time you went in with a strategy and a structure for your answers, which you got from the Speaking Confidence course. Yeah. And
I also invented some of mine as well.
Really? Do you want to share?
No.
Oh.
No, just kidding. Well, if you want, for example, task 1, I followed like the sentence guide. I always try to find at least 2 ideas and 1 example to support it. And I did the same to my task 3 as well. Right. I used the same, yeah. But for task 3, I used the sentence guide. Actually, for the question like, do you think this or that? And I would say, I think this is this. This is because blah blah blah. And then I will show them like example from my own personal example, or I go straight to therefore.
Right.
I use the sentence guide, really. And also, like, I think it depends. It's also a really powerful strategy. It depends. For example, I got the question like, what kind of activity Vietnamese people do for relaxation? So I would say it depends on the age. For example, the elderly people like to do this, the younger people like to do that. Yeah, I think that's a really powerful structure.
Yeah, definitely. I can see how that works because you're going to show sort of like both sides of it, and that's
and you have more things to talk about as well.
Exactly, yeah. And if you've got more things to talk about, it's going to boost your vocabulary as well. Oh, that's a good point.
It's based on your task 1 strategy as well. Like try to think about like at least 2 things to talk about.
Yeah, that's That's a really good point, actually, because if you say it depends, then you're forcing yourself to produce two sides.
Definitely.
Okay, that's a very interesting point. Thanks for that, Tuan.
I think you should.
I should license it from you.
Yeah. Please credit me.
Yeah,
because I think it works for me perfectly. And
well, what you said before about using the sentence guide, which is made for the writing,
and then
in the speaking, I think that's a really smart idea, because I know from personal experience, when I started studying writing, like I would give more thought, and I would give more thought about the words I was using, and my communication improved considerably. So I think by not only putting a structure for giving coherent answers in a written format, and translating that into a speaking format is a genius idea. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, the sentence guide actually helps my speaking a lot. It makes my speaking very logical and easy to follow. So I don't think we should restrict it only to writing.
Yeah, but it makes sense as well, because I mean, once you've used the structure for the writing, then it's 10 times easier to use it in the speaking. And I think another student was telling me they used a similar idea for their speaking exam as well. So yeah, and when you said as well that you started on your writing first, and you got that under control using sort of like okay, I'm going to focus entirely on the IELTS, and first I'll focus entirely on the writing, and then I'll focus entirely on the speaking. But by doing it in that order, I think you've helped yourself tremendously, because, like we just said, getting your writing in order and stuff like that. So what happened actually in the speaking exam? What questions, or tell us from the beginning what happened, because I think this is really beneficial for students, especially if they haven't taken the exam before. So you waited, they called out your name, and you went in?
They gave me a card here after the reading all these tests, telling me the time. So I got there about 15 minutes before the speaking. So I went there. They took photos of me in the room, in the register room, and then I waited for about 5 minutes, and then I got into the room.
I see.
So and then
was the examiner a beast, or were they happy, or were they polite?
Beast. She was a really old lady, but she was really encouraging, and she was smiling all the time. And
fantastic!
Yeah, it made me feel really confident. But sometimes she stopped at me because of the time constraint. But I found out it doesn't matter, so it doesn't affect your score at all.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, if you're just talking terribly and she stops you, then it's going to affect your score. But the fact that if you're talking okay and you're going slightly over the limit, then she'll stop you. But you're totally right. It won't affect your score. So first, she asked you a few sort of like warming up questions, just about who you are, where you're from, and stuff like this. Okay. And then you got.
But I mean, she skipped some popular questions.
Okay.
Such as hometown, but she jumped straight to teacher, some activities near water, things like that.
Okay.
Just, I don't know why, but she skipped all the popular questions.
Okay, yeah, well, I mean, maybe she thought that, okay, this guy obviously knows what he's doing. We're not going to waste time on this. I'm going to test him at the higher levels just to see if he's... I'm going to test him at the higher levels and give him the opportunity to go for the 7, for the 8, you know what I mean? And probably she saw that you were pretty confident.
Probably.
Yeah, she saw your confidence as well, and she said, okay, he doesn't need relaxing with the questions about hometown and stuff. But by the way, did you prepare anyway for your hometown questions and stuff like this?
No, I mean, I mean, preparation is really important, definitely. And especially speaking, all the questions are repeated. So I think it's good for students to go on website and find some recent questions, and they can use the strategy in the speaking confidence or their own strategy, and then speaking with these potential questions. Actually, I got about 4 questions that I practiced before in the real speaking test. So before I thought they are going to give new questions every time, but actually the questions are repeated, even the task 2 and task 3. So I think students, when they have the strategy, they can find the website that update the questions constantly, and then they can practice with this. So it's like not like swimming in the ocean without no direction, but actually they might probably got these questions in the real test.
Okay, what questions did you get? Can you remember?
I got 1 questions I prepare, such as what do you like to do when you if you had pleasure time near the water? What would you do? I practiced this question right before the speaking test, but I was like trying to be calm and pretend like I didn't prepare for this. And also, 1 question is like,
so when she started. When she started with the question that you recognized from another website, did you say I would never imagine you would give me that question?
No, I didn't say that.
That's so surprising.
Yeah, I should have said that. Oh, wow.
Wow, you totally surprised me. Oh, my God.
I didn't expect you're going to ask this. But I got about 4 questions like this. So.
Oh, wow. Oh, no. So it was worth checking out the website. Which website did you get these questions from?
Google.
Oh, yeah? You
just type in
recent IELTS speaking questions.
IELTS question, IELTS topics. I also practice my writing as well with the recent topics.
Right. Excellent. Okay, good. And
also, like some website, some classes, they encourage students to update all the questions after the test. So I think you can do it with IELTS podcast as well.
Yeah. I think I should start encouraging students. I think I will actually from now on. Everybody, once you've done your speaking exam,
30,000 people.
I know.
So it's gonna be like the resource for students to check the questions, recent questions, and then they can practice with these questions.
Yeah, I think what I'll do actually is just write this down, and I'll just what I can do is just upload a speaking doc, I can just make it public, and then people can just post their questions, and same for the writing as well. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think my friend mentioned the same as well. But yeah, definitely
because they repeat the questions, so that's why we can do this. They repeat the speaking questions, but not writing.
No.
but writing, we got the sentence guide, so that's why I felt pretty confident in last time.
Yeah. So
I was like cover every writing, speaking.
So for the writing, you got in there and you knew immediately what to do and how to approach it.
I just followed on the sentence guide. I got a question about work, and it was like, do you agree or disagree? And I just jumped straight to agree, and then I put P1, P2, and then just I finished my writing, I think only 30 minutes.
Wow.
but my task 1, my task 2, but my task 1 was quite slow. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But still, that's a good time for just polishing off your task 2, and your task 1. Did you follow all the advice in the academic task 1 course in the sentence guides?
No, I took general.
Ah, okay,
general
sorry. Okay, so it was just a case of using the phrases then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But because we need to invent story, so I was quite struggling with invent some story to write about.
But for the task 1, was this a letter, but like with a bit of backstory to it?
Yeah, it's like party. You just organize a party and you write to the manager to thank him.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, so it does take a little bit of imagination there. Yeah.
Invent a story.
Sorry?
But I mean, we need to invent a story to write about.
Yeah.
But I mean, the sentence guide, I think it's quite helpful.
Yeah.
Because actually, I only follow this sentence guide for task 1 only 5 days before the test, because I was silly. I thought after purchasing the sentence guide, I thought I only got task 2, so I didn't check task 1.
No.
So
actually,
so I was silly. Sorry.
No, you're not silly. Actually, I just changed a part of like one of the return emails I sent when I say when you do the first task 2 essays, and then I send back your corrections. And I say, okay, do this task 1 question and do this task 2 question. Now in that email I've put, when I reply, I say, and check out your task 1 course here and watch some videos and then do it, because I realized, I was like, oh my God, none of the students are watching the videos. And then I was like, yeah, because it was my fault, because I didn't actually tell them or instruct them or show them. But yeah, you're totally right. So,
but I mean, I only followed it 5 days before the test, but I got it.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It worked perfectly. All the phrases and things.
Yeah, this is it. For the task 1 for general, all you need are these phrases. Once you've got the phrases, it's just a walk in the park. It's just super easy. So for the other parts, for the reading and the listening, do you have any advice for the students to help them with that part?
Actually, this time it took me only 2 months to got the result. It was also because I didn't have to worry about reading and listening.
Right.
Because about 2 years ago, I took the test for the university, and I prepared my reading and my listening quite well. So I didn't have to prepare for these two. That's why I took it for 2 months. Yeah.
Okay.
And also, for the strategy, I think reading it's important to review your answer, not just like answer blah 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 blah, blah and then done. But I mean the important part is to review it and try to answer why. Even if you answer correctly, you should like find the reason why you answer this way. And
I see.
Like, for example, the true, false, and not given. You like why you choose it. Because it is part in the paragraph said this, and I think, and also before I wrote down about 10 new words after every reading paragraph, like 10 new words for this, and try to find the reason for the answer.
I see. So every time you did a practice exam, you would find about 10 new words that you didn't know the meaning of. Sorry?
At least 10 new words.
At least 10. And then you would write them down and just research what they meant and how they were used. Right.
That's just the meaning of this, and then wrote down a few sentences, like example.
Gotcha. Yeah, just to help you remember it.
And also I think to find the reason is really important.
Yeah.
And sometimes they paraphrase this way and then they paraphrase differently.
Yeah, it can be quite tricky. It can be a bit of a challenge. And for the listening, how did you prepare for your listening?
From my listening, I did the same. Like if I get the wrong answer, I listen back and then I try to like listen more carefully at this part.
Okay.
And before about 2 years ago, I even wrote down word by word the conversation.
Wow.
Really,
Okay.
it took quite a long time, but it helped my speaking tremendously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think that's
But it took quite a long time.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's worth taking those 2 or 3 hours basically to transcribe the listening, because what you're doing is deconstructing it completely so you can see the little tricks they do.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like sometimes for example, the question, they have 3 options for the time, but like first they said in this way, and then the correct in the middle, and then another time, but like for the future event, for example, but it's not the answer. So I was trying to find the trap. They was trying like possible trap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think transcribing the listening is definitely a worthwhile task. You can get basically you're deconstructing it, and if you've got the exam paper next to you, then you can see all the traps, all the tricks, and basically you can work like a whole strategy on how to like identify them as well. So yeah, that's really good advice there, Tuan. Thanks for that.
Sorry.
And now
that's what we are doing.
Yeah, I'm going to have to license a new product out to you now. It's going to be the sentence guide version 2, Tuan's version, including the listening.
Thanks.
So now, Tuan, now that you've passed your exams and you've got the residency, yeah? Is that right?
I'm applying for it.
Right.
But I've been very lazy recently. Enjoy the reward, so
you've just been chilling out, got your IELTS, going down to Sydney, down to the beach, and just like
games, sleep, all this stuff.
I see. But the plan is to get your residency, and then you're going to start looking for jobs, I guess, after the summer, I imagine.
Summer?
Yeah, once the summer finishes.
I think so. I'm planning to go back to my hometown for a couple of months.
Right.
No, not couple, just 1 month maybe. Yes, because I haven't been back to my hometown for like 2 years already.
Oh, wow. So. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so just go back there and then proceed with the application, I guess.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Looking for a job.
Yeah, what jobs are...
Another challenge.
And yeah, totally. What jobs are you looking for?
Architecture job. My major is architecture, so...
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, but is there lots of jobs for architecture now in Australia, I imagine, because the economy is booming, or it was at least.
Yep, there are more jobs, but still the competition is quite intense here.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to prepare like I prepare for the IELTS. Full-time.
Full-time job search, full-time focus. Yeah, smart idea. I think
focus is really important.
Oh, definitely.
Especially the after listening to your postcard, like 74, like how to get motivated after taking the test many times. I listened to it even though I didn't take the test before. I still listen to it. But I mean, a few points in this postcard is really useful for students, such as they need to put in actions if they want to get the result. Yeah. Because I told you last time I didn't put any effort in, but I expected the result, so it was like...
Yeah, I think you're so right there. That it's surprising, actually. A lot of students do mention podcast 74, the one how to get remotivated. And different students like it for different reasons. But like what you said, you know, just getting prepared and getting a strategy together and stuff and just focusing, I think, I think it's one of the other points in that podcast, which just brings me on to one point that I want to share with all the students listening, with all the listeners, that I just discovered a really good way of focusing and concentrating for the IELTS exam. I'll just share this. I'll probably make a bigger podcast later. But two things. One, Pomodoro Technique. Have you heard of that, Tuan?
No, I haven't heard.
No? It's
no.
What you do is you just set your timer for 25 minutes, you focus intently on the task, and then every 25 minutes you put your phone in flight mode, you close your Facebook, and then
that's exactly what I did. I just put my phone in like flight mode.
There we go. Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah, this is exactly what you need to do. And then the technique is you focus for 25 minutes, then the timer goes off after 25 minutes, and then you've got a 5-minute break where you get a cup of tea, make a coffee, eat some chocolate, check WhatsApp, check Facebook, and then put your phone back into flight mode and do another 25-minute session. And that, I've been using that. My friend told me about it. And the other thing is to put on some background noise, and especially this is really good with headphones, but if you put on some, you can usually find it it's called white noise. For me, the sound of rain, I just put the sound of rain, and that really just gets me into focus, focus mode, and I can work so much better. So yeah, and this is really important, especially if you're doing a task that you're not really motivated to do. If you can block out all distractions, then it's just a million times easier. But I'm going to go into more detail in this one at the end of the podcast.
Environment, I think, is really important.
Yeah. Totally.
Because I just moved to this new place about 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. But in the old place, it was really noisy and there were many people walking around. So I couldn't concentrate, and I was I felt quite depressed with my writing. Especially I didn't find out the sentence guide. But when I moved to this new place, it was really quiet. Really, for me. And also, it has a backyard, beautiful backyard. So after 55 minutes, that's my time. I just walked out and I did some stretching and then exercise, and then after 5 or 10 minutes, I came back to another block, 55 minutes block. So I think environment is really important.
Definitely, yeah, I totally agree with you. I found a really good co-working place to work, and I told all my friends, and then I go down there to do my co-working, and I'm getting interrupted all the time by my friends, hey, this is a great place. Hey, what are you doing today? And I'm just trying to work, So now I've got I found another 3 places in the city where I'm living now, but I haven't told anybody, and then I can I can put on my headphones and I can just focus because, if you're down, if you're unmotivated and you're feeling a bit depressed, then any distraction is 10 times more powerful because you want a distraction. You actually want something to take you away. So the environment is fundamental. Totally agree with you there, Tom.
And also I think students need to find suitable environment for themselves. Such as for me, I need quiet. But quiet environment. But for some, maybe they like coffee shop, people walking around. So I think it's good to find a suitable place to work.
Yeah, definitely.
For themselves,
Yeah, totally agree there. Totally agree. I should make another podcast, actually, sort of preparation and environment and motivation and focus. Sorry?
With credit.
Yeah, with credit, of course.
Thank you.
This should be IELTS podcast with Tuan. And sometimes Ben Worthington.
I'm happy. I'm going to send my friend.
Okay. All right.
I just thought your podcast should have something like update questions, because you have lots of students, but for speaking questions.
Yeah, I totally agree. That it should be sort of like, I'm going to implement that, and in November, I'll put it on there, and you can start commenting. You can be the first one to comment. Okay then. All right, Tan. Do you have anything to say to the students before we finish up?
I just want to say, like, it's a difficult test. So if you want to get it, focus on it and take your time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and by the way, students, like Tuan, he used the sentence guide. He did the work. He didn't just buy it and then his grades jumped. He bought it, he did the work, he implemented it, and he used it for his speaking as well. So
I also read BBC and some online website, and I found one day I read an article, and they gave example exactly like the sentence guide suggests.
That's interesting.
They gave an example like athletes who do this were 40% more active than those, and I thought, okay.
Yeah, this is how they write an academic.
And I checked the author, and she was like senior writer, something like that. Yeah. And I thought, okay, see if senior writes this way, I will definitely get 7 for my writing.
Yeah, totally. Really, it's like the fastest way to improve your writing and write academically is to use the same structures that are taught in the sentence guide. So yeah, definitely, man. And that's another point actually. Yeah, check out if you're with the writing, if you're struggling with the writing, check out the academic websites. Check out where good, authoritative, scientific content is being written, and just check the structures there, like Tuan did. Check the structures and check the style, and you'll see it's exactly what it's asked for in IELTS, and is exactly what is taught in the sentence guide.
Especially the BBC, I think. Yeah. Because I was quite suspicious, because I didn't just online course, to be honest, before, but that's why it took me about half a month trying to research about the sentence guide, and I didn't buy it straight away. I told you, I just but I mean, after doing my own research, I found this way of writing is suitable for me, and it's quite logical. Yeah, and it's not silly like the structure.
Thank you.
in the center, because I have to pay like $190. I need to do my research, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
So
I totally agree with you.
But after doing my own research, I thought to myself I would definitely get 7 with this, so I bought it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what's really interesting as well is that you got the 7 for the because you said that you're taking it for residency reasons as well, and for some reason I'm seeing, like talking with my students, that those going for residency seem to be having a more tough time than those who are doing it for higher education purposes. Yeah. And so
especially the expectation for students like me. Like after living here for 2 years, people expected me to be like, I can get it easily, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think what you said before, you need to focus, you need to take it seriously, you need to prepare, and if you can get some specialist advice that's just going to help you and motivate you, that's a million times better. So, so Tuan, we'll have to finish there.
Thank you once again for helping.
You're welcome, buddy. It's a pleasure working with you.
You're great.
for listening to IELTSPodcast.com.